Does experience matter this time of year?
I hope so. I've had a lot of experience.
There was a cool moment that was captured by cameras of you and Mike Tomlin after the game at the 50-yard line. Just what's been the experience of building a relationship with Mike, and where does that kind of relationship show up at this time of year?
Well, it started back in April when I came out here and visited with him, and then the conversations that we had, during those months. I've enjoyed my time with Mike immensely. Mike is a phenomenal leader. He's great in front of the room. We have our meetings Wednesdays and Thursday mornings with quarterbacks that are really helpful. Seeing his perspective on the plan, on the opponent every single week. So it's been a great experience. I really appreciate Mike, and I'm just thankful that he was a part of bringing me here.
Texans are one of the best defenses in the NFL, but they're in the bottom half of the league, like getting deep balls, defending the deep ball, explosive passing plays. What do you guys have to be mindful of to make those types of plays while also minding their pass rush?
It starts with the protection. They got a really good D line. They got multiple guys with 10 plus sacks. Gone against Hunter for a lot of my career. I have a ton of respect for him. He's a phenomenal player. And Will, we saw him in New York the last couple of years, and he just gets better every single year. He's a high energy, high effort guy who's got a lot of new pass moves to his repertoire the last couple of years, and starts with trying to slow those guys down a little bit.
There really not a little breeze going through your head in that 2-minute drill?
Yeah, usually. Yeah.
Aaron, what stands out to you about the back end of Houston's secondary?
Yeah, let's go back in. Obviously, Stingley's recognized as one of the top guys in the league every single year. But I think Laster's gotten better every year in his career, and he's a good player. Obviously, Petrie is one of those guys that can do a lot of different things. He can play the high safety, he can play nickel. Bullock has gotten better every single year as well, so it's a really solid back end. Those guys play well together. I've seen this type of defense in practice the last couple of years. Obviously, it's a little different, but it's not intricate as far as 30 different calls. They run their few calls really well. So it's not surprising they're the top defense in the league.
Aaron, this might be a follow-up to what Mike was asking you. Was there a moment after you got here, whether it be before the season, camp, first couple of weeks, you realized, this is the right move. This is what I was deciding about, and I made the right decision?
Well, once I made the decision, I felt like it was the right decision. There were some confirmation moments for sure. When I got here day one of minicamp, I felt like it was a little different in a good way, and I liked the feeling. And then obviously the Latrobe experience was a really positive one, and thankful that Mr. Rooney still has the team do that every single year. It's a good chemistry building, team bonding opportunity. And coming out of Latrobe, I felt good about our team, that we'd be in a position late in the year to play some meaningful football games.
Aaron, I'm sure you're aware of the playoff win drought in the city. Mike said on Tuesday that a lot of these guys haven't been around that long. They don't care about that. But do you care about getting a win for this city, this team, and Mike, who hasn't had a win in the playoffs since 2016?
I care about winning. That's why I'm here. That's why I love the Monday to Saturday grind. And stats are what they are. The trends are what they are, and those trends are. Any trend is always meant to be broken at some point. So hopefully we can do that.
Along those lines, how fair do you think it is to judge teams or individuals within the team based on what happens in the playoffs?
How fair is it to what?
To judge either teams or individuals within the team based on what happens in the playoffs.
It doesn't matter. You guys are still going to do it, right? I don't think it matters. I have to think about that.
Aaron, they say that in the playoffs, the speed of the game changes. Is that something that you all talked about?
I haven't heard anybody talk about it yet. I think it's the opponents are all really good. You go through a season and there's matchups that give you problems, but at the end of the year, when it's 14 teams left playing and 18 teams at home, each one of those 14 teams has a chance to win the Super Bowl. So there's a reason they're here, and there's a reason that they put themselves in position to get into the playoffs. And so everybody is good every single week.
Aaron, Cam was saying after the game that he felt like you guys were playing with house money. Was his words. Is there an advantage to having that type of mentality going into the playoffs?
I think there's definitely an advantage. When we won the Super Bowl, we were the underdogs. We were the last team in. There was something about that we felt, we were kind of free rolling a little bit. But again, every team is good in the playoffs, and you got to bring your A game to win if you want to move on and not go home. So I don't know about playing with house money. I'm not sure about that.
Aaron, you had 3 big completions, Firemouth, Austin, and MVS, all in the air beyond the chains by a fair distance. Are you more, now that it's later in the season, the stakes are a little bit higher, willing to take those balls and push them down the field, hang in the pocket a little bit longer if you need to in these circumstances than early in the season?
I don't think any of those were high-risk throws. Those were simple concepts with slight adjustments, guys being open on time. So I'm not going to change the way I played on.
Aaron, I know
you had a lot of great moments, great throws in your career. Where do you put them on the count? Stop and think about it.
The degree of difficulty wasn't that high. The moment obviously made that a little more special. Cal's had 3 touchdowns this year. Each one of them were pretty important. Take the lead against the Jets, take the lead against New England, and take the lead against Baltimore. So proud of him coming back. He obviously adds a good element to our offense. But it wasn't the best throw in my career.
For you personally, you haven't played in a playoff game since 2021. I believe that's the longest in your career that you've gone without not playing in the postseason. So how good does that feel for you personally just to get back?
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, that was a 2022 January, I believe, when we played in the division round. Yeah, it feels good to be back. That's why you play. You want to be playing meaningful football late in the season. And we put ourselves in that position. I think some of it's embracing the way the season has gone. And at 6-6, there are a lot of people thinking we were going to be kind of stumbling to the finish, and then who knows what was going to happen. A lot of you probably in this group, either publicly or privately, we're talking about Mike T getting axed. So it feels good to shut all those comments down, clean the slate now. Anybody can make a run. It's the hottest team. We've won 4 out of 5. We're playing a lot better football than we were earlier in the season. I like our chances.
Well, you've been on championship teams, you've been on playoff teams. Where does this team rank, when it comes to the belief and the confidence that it needs moving into the playoffs?
Every team is different, different personalities, different chemistry. I like the vibe that we have, but it's hard to compare it.
Aaron, you mentioned DK back in the building, and what can you add to your offense a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, DK is the number 1 receiver, so it's great having DK back. He's real thankful to be back, I know, and we're all thankful to have him back as well. DK, one of the things I love about him, there's a lot of things, but DK kind of knows one speed. So although it's like a fast jog through today, or fast walk through, I guess as they say it, not for me and DK. So I like the work that we put in today.
Aaron, you just mentioned shutting people up, that being something that you guys relished from being 6-6 to now. How much of that is a motivation going into Monday night to continue to keep those people silent about Mike T's job or about the future here?
I don't think there's any way to keep those people silent. I think that's the nature of sports media and the knee-jerk reaction of our society with social media, and it is what it is. That's the way sports is covered now. Part of it's great for our sport because there's a ton of eyes on what we do, and that's great for our business. I would just tell our guys to not get locked into the comments, get into Twitter battles. Never does any good for anybody, and just not really worrying about that stuff. But I think from a personal standpoint, we love Mike T. And Mike T has had an incredible career here as a head coach. To go that long and never have a losing season is unbelievable. There's always going to be something. When I was a young player, they said I, couldn't be considered elite till I won a playoff game. And then after that, it was till you win a Super Bowl and, you haven't won MVP yet and whatever they might be. For Mike T, he's had, 19 straight non-losing seasons. So they got to find something to try and get after him. Mike T's probably like me, though. Doesn't give a whole lot of shit about any of those comments, but it is nice because we all love him and want to play for him and want to win for him.
In that,
2 more, guys. 2 more.
Not giving a shit about those comments. Is that what attracted you to come here? I mean, you said he lets you be yourself. Are those all things that you've learned even more since you got to Pittsburgh and have worked with him?
Well, a lot of that I think is important. I think the way that he creates the culture and allows guys to be themselves is an important part of team chemistry in the locker room, being a healthy locker room. One thing I really love, and it's kind of the antithesis of where I was, is There's not really any leaks in the boat. Every year you have difficulties and adversity, both on the field and off the field. And to go through a season like this and to be able to focus on football and not have a lot of other little bullshit out there has been really nice.
MVS told
Last
me
one.
on Sunday night that with you as quarterback, he's never felt like he's going to lose. What does it mean to you that your teammates have that sort of belief in you, especially in weighty moments like that?
I mean, that's what you want. You know, when you're a kid and you grow up and you watch your idols. For me, it was the guys with the ball in their hand late in the game, and it was Joe Montana and Steve Young and Michael Jordan. And you know, the conversation around a lot of those guys is that there's an incredible belief that when it's last seconds and MJ's got the ball in his hands, he's going to make it. When it's ball on the 8-yard line, need a touchdown to win the game, and Joe's making comments about John Candy up in the stands, I think everybody kind of has a belief they're going to go down and score. So when you grow up reading about that stuff and want to emulate your idols, you know, you want to have that belief from your teammates that when we get the ball in that situation with 2:20, there's not a doubt in their mind where we go down and score. And I think a lot of that is due to the work we put in during the week, and the other part is the connection that you make during the week and spending time together, watching film, and growing closer together, so that when you know those moments, you don't want to let the other guy down. That's my mindset when I'm in the moment like that. Is I know why I'm here and why they brought me here, and I got to come through in those moments because I don't want to let my teammates down, Mike T down, Arthur down, Mr. Rooney, all those guys, and that's a motivation, I think, if you harness it the right way.